Oh, okay. Hello and welcome to Morning Brew. No, Island Brew here from Ginger Island in come on Graham, I don't have it. Whatever it is, I don't have it. And if I do have it, I didn't catch it off your mum. Anyway, how you all doing this morning? Today I'm going to spend a good hour slagging off America because your energy bill's about to go through the fucking roof. Like your energy bills are set to double in the UK. So before we all get a little bit agitated about what America's done, because 77 million of them have got severe learning difficulties and/or daddy issues. We'll look out over the lagoon. Here you go. Look at this, the Bocas del Toro lagoon. Look at that. Isn't that just magnificent? Be even more magnificent in focus, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. No, focus. Why don't you just stay in focus? Here's an idea for you. That land there, right? That's not moving. Just look at the land. The land's not moving. Don't look around the land. No, you've gone out of focus again. Oh, fuck me, Google. You suck so bad. It's painful. This, Google, is why we're going to boycott America. I tell you why we need to, what's just happened and why we need to boycott America and what we can actually do to boycott America, because obviously it's quite difficult when you go out on an American platform such as YouTube. We need YouTube. That's what we need. Someone needs to set it up immediately so we can all go over there instead. Hey, listen, so basically, if you're wondering why there's bits of roof material on the deck there, it's because this roof is going to replace this roof here. And no, before you ask it, it wasn't cheap to buy 16 of these massive sheets of metal. Anyway, but yeah, focus on Bocas. On Bocas. Bocas. Yeah, maybe I should. It's a bit, there's a lot of chitras out today. We've got a lot of chitras, little sandflies, no-see-ums. They're very annoying. But nowhere near as annoying as having to live in a world where the Yanks voted for Donald Trump. And the thing is here, I think they need to take collective responsibility, because even if they didn't vote themselves for Donald Trump, they were part of a system that allowed Donald Trump to do what he did, commit crimes that would have had any other human being who lived in America, not just imprisoned, but literally put to death, like executed for crimes against the state, mounting an insurrection against the Parliament building of America. And he just walked away scot-free. Not only scot-free, he's made $6 billion since he became president again. $6 billion now. And that's gifts from around the world. That's cryptocurrency shite that he's involved with, NFTs, all that bollocks, meme coins. He's basically stealing money off government departments and using it to fund himself, forcing companies to pay tributes. Do you know what he's like? There was a guy, what's his name? Pizarro, he was one of the conquistadors, and he came to what's now Peru, and he kidnapped the Inca king, kidnapped him, and he ransomed the Inca king for a room of gold. And across the Inca Empire, they were so desperate to get their king back that they got all the gold that they had. And they didn't have that much. I mean, they liked using gold for, like, jewelry and stuff, just like people in Europe and Africa and Asia had done for centuries, possibly millennia, right? But the conquistadors tell this idea that there was a city of gold, El Dorado, next door to El Salvador, and they just thought, oh, you got shitloads of gold, give me all your gold. So they got all the gold from the empire that they could find, from the Incan Empire, and they put it, and they had an entire room filled with gold. And Pizarro saw it and he went, "Oh, thanks for that," and then he killed the king anyway. Trump is a fat version of Pizarro with VD. I mean, you've seen him. He's such a diseased fucker. He's so fucking diseased. But let's talk about what's actually happening right now. So last night, right, UK, more importantly, more pertinently for us lot, the UK gas prices went up 20% overnight. Overnight, ladies and gentlemen, 20% overnight, if you can believe that. Wholesale gas prices jumped to around 171 pence per therm. European prices now are more than double pre-war levels, and this feeds directly into the UK energy bills with a bit of delay. But the price cap means that future hikes are locked in. So although our bills will come down in April, like your dad's, when it gets to the next time the price cap is set, there's a good chance our bills could double from what they are now. They're already sky high. They are already through the fucking roof. Why did this happen? Well, because Trump fucking started the fucking war against fucking Iran without consulting anyone, without asking for any allies to come in on board with it, apart from Israel, who can fuck off as well, cunts. And they're punishing us. We're the ones getting like these higher energy bills. We had nothing to do with it, you know? Let's declare war on a country and then fuck all these other countries at the same time. What? Why would you do that? Unless you are literally the worst country ever to ever fucking exist. And I used to try and make excuses for America. You know, back when 9/11 happened and people said, "Oh, they deserved it," and I went, "No, they didn't. No one deserves that." And I still believe that they don't deserve. You know, that if another September the 11th happens later this year, which is what Trump is banking on to win in the midterms, by the way, I just put that out there now because it's absolutely what's going to happen. Because Trump is this fucking monster who doesn't give a flying fuck about the American people. You know, that's one thing. But I used to say, well, look, you know, America's made some bad foreign policy decisions, but at other times it's made some pretty good ones, to be honest with you. In 1991, on February 28th, they declared the operation finished in Iraq, and they left Saddam Hussein in power. They made the north of Iraq an autonomous region, the autonomous region of Kurdistan. And as a result of that, like, you know, things simmered down, although the Ba'athist regime stayed in place and Saddam Hussein stayed in place, we didn't have to deal with the same, like, bullshittery that we had up till that point. You know, it was better, you know, perhaps not for all of the Iraqi people, but certainly it was better for people who were living up in the north, in Sulaymaniyah and Erbil. But it was also better for the world because there wasn't a prolonged conflict going on, a destabilizing prolonged conflict going on in the Middle East. America in the 90s, to be honest with you, I mean, they transitioned to being the only real global power. This is before China found its legs. This is in the breakup of the Soviet Union. America at the time, in the sort of mid-90s, intervened in places like Sarajevo and in Kosovo and Pristina to try and stop horrible things happening. And the fact that they spent a lot of time trying to rehabilitate Russia, they lent Russia money to get itself back on its feet, which we know now was a complete fucking mistake. But at least they fucking tried. So I would make excuses. I would give reasons why America didn't deserve 9/11. No country does. No country did. No country deserves 3,000 of its own civilians to be killed by fucking lunatics, right? That just isn't right. It isn't fair. But as to defending American foreign policy, I was quite up for a little bit of light defence, a little bit of, well, in the mid 90s, it was America more than any other country in the world really pushing for peace between Palestine and Israel. They were the ones who got Yitzhak Rabin and Yasser Arafat into a room together and had them talking and trying to thrash out some kind of agreement that both sides could live with. Remember? And then September the 11th happened, and the wheels just fell off. And listen, I'm not disputing the fact that obviously before then, America had done some pretty fucking rum things. I was just thinking about like the United Fruit Company and what they did to these parts. It's like horrific. The American oil companies paying for, wars, proxy wars to happen. Well, also European countries did that as well. But here's something to remember, right? Even if we're going to go back over American history and sort of go, oh, fucking hell, right? In 1945, there was only one country on the earth that had nuclear weapons. Only one. And it was the United States of America. They were the only country in the world with nuclear weapons. And although we found that afterwards that once they had the Trinity test and then they dropped 2 bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, it would have taken them a long time to make another bomb, maybe a year or so, because they had to enrich whatever they have to do. It's a whole process, isn't it? They didn't go on a rampage and take over the world. This was when all these countries, like the UK, like France, like Germany, Russia, the Soviet Union as it was then, were recovering from the war. They were recovering from the war. The war was over. And these countries are in desperate need to start rebuilding. And at that point, you think for a moment that if it had been the Soviet Union, right, that had developed the nuclear bomb, at that point, and for the next 6 years, they would be the only country in the world that had access to this technology, that could make these things. You think they wouldn't have used them to at least threaten to take over the rest of the world? What do you think Britain would do? France, Spain, Italy, Germany? So yeah, I did used to give America credit. I did used to say, yeah, they fucked up. And do you know when they fuck up, they make a movie about how they fucked up and how it made them sad. Which is more than a lot of other countries do. I'm looking at you, Turkey, here, not even registering that the Armenian massacre, the Armenian genocide ever happened. In fact, imprisoning people for saying that it did. Or British people running around saying, oh, we don't want to teach history anymore. We don't want to teach kids what happened. We don't want to tell the story of this stately home that was paid for by slavery. We don't want that. We just want statues. We want statues of men that we don't know who they are. It's much more important. Yeah. So, America's done some shit in the past. And it's also arguably done some good shit. Think about music. Think about movies. Yeah, okay. Hats off. You entertained me more than any other country on the planet. I'm sorry. I usually can be quite Anglophilic. No, that's not the wrong word, isn't it? I do love the British Isles, and I include all of the countries of the UK, and I include the Republic of Ireland in that. The British Isles, as in the islands, all there, the Isle of Man, the Isle of Wight, all that kind of shit, right? Very, very entertaining. Very, very, very entertaining. Absolutely, 100% punches above its weight when it comes to the arts. No doubt about it. I mean, we're the home of Shakespeare and Dickens and J.R.R. Tolkien. But America, I mean, they allowed the fucking Lord of the Rings movies to be made. British people didn't seem to want to make those fucking movies. You think British people don't have the money to make those kind of movies? Yes, they fucking do. Jacob Rees-Mogg could pay for those movies out of his fucking back pocket. The money is there. The money is absolutely 100% there. We just don't spend it on our own ideas. on our own IP. The Harry Potter movies would not have existed had it not been for Warner Brothers. James Bond, British book, written by a former British secret agent, Ian Fleming. Were the British interested in making those films? No, they were produced from the get-go by Cubby Broccoli and his family, who, were Americans, still are Americans, his family are. And now it's owned by fucking Bezos, isn't it? My point is that I used to defend America. I want to just get that across really strongly before I just start laying into these motherfuckers, because they re-elected Trump knowing everything they knew about him. And he's gone and started this fucking war. And now Iran has struck Qatar's Ras Laffan gas complex, one of the most important LNG hubs on the planet. We get the majority of the gas that we use for our power in our homes from Qatar. Comes across LNG. And I've spoken before about how if an LNG tanker got hit by a drone or a missile or something, the explosion would rip your skin off if you were standing a kilometre away. I mean, it would be insane. It would probably be the biggest non-nuclear explosion in history. And they struck the gas complex. Also, there's been drone strikes on Kuwaiti oil refineries, and there's ongoing missile exchanges across the Gulf. And Qatar is massively important to Europe and in particular to the UK, since cutting off Russian gas post-Ukraine in Europe, the European continent has relied heavily on LNG from Qatar. And the damage to facilities, which may take weeks, may take months, could take up to a year to fix this. This is really complex systems. This is, it's not just digging a hole in the ground and capturing the gas in a big balloon. It's a lot more complicated than that. It's been said that Israel caused Iran as part of the... it's been said that it was Israel cause Iran as part of that gas field. Well, I mean, it might have been. The point is, Trump started a war that he didn't have to start. After berating the allies of America of being scumbags for a year and a half, he's now turned around and said, "Oh, we need your help." Fuck him, the horrible man. And whatever caused it. Well, it was the war, wasn't it? Whatever went ahead with this, because Israel wouldn't have gone ahead with bombing Iran without America being on side with it. It means that less supply and demand. Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations, supply and demand. Less supply, panic buying. What does that equal? Price spike. And this is the markets pricing in long-term disruption. This is not just a blip. Fucking annoying the other day. I put, oh my God, like oil's gone to over $100 a barrel and it's all Trump's fault. And someone got in the comments saying, well, actually, it's only $85 now. And I think, why do the people have this obsession with correcting people? I don't understand it. It's not in my nature to constantly undermine the point someone is making by going, well, actually, because the next day it had gone back up to 100. Do you know what I mean? It was doing this sort of thing, which it does sometimes, right? But, okay, I think it was an American maybe who said it. Oh, okay. Oh, it's only $85. All right, that's all right then. We can panic over. You don't have to worry. It's only, 20% more than it was last week, rather than 40%. Okay, cool. And because there were multiple strikes on this facility in Qatar, the Laughing gas complex, um, there's an expectation that supply is not going to stabilize quickly. Joe, the only people who are laughing right now is is Russia, isn't it? Russia's just having a fucking great laugh, you know. And summer demand for energy is just going to make it worse because you got this coupled with the fact that we are going through these mad heat waves at the moment. There's a heat dome developing over America at the moment. It's going to see temperatures well in excess of 100 degrees Fahrenheit in places where the mercury should not be that high. So let's talk about how we got here, the sort of chain of causation here. So first of all, the U.S. There was the U.S.-Israel attack on Iran, which triggered the current war. No clear endgame, no clear demands, no coherent strategy, immediate regional escalation, and Iran, you know, retaliates asymmetrically. I mean, it's shit. It's horrible. I hate that people are having to live in fear across the Middle East because of what Trump and Netanyahu have done. But I believe that if we were Iran, if we were Iranians, and we had what we had, we'd do exactly the same thing. We wouldn't just target Israel or Israeli or US bases. No, we would well, Israel itself, I guess. We'll go after the regional energy infrastructure because if you've got the world over a barrel of oil, then that's your, forgive the expression, trump card. You've got to play it. That's the way war works. So this has hit allies, it's hit neutrals, it's hit mediators. I mean, fucking Oman got hit, for Christ's sake. But also Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia have been indirectly dragged into this fight. The energy sector itself has become a battlefield. You know? Is that a new hammock behind G? No, 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 no. This isn't a new one. This isn't a new one. This is my two-person hammock, but there's only one person here at the moment, and that's me. So I'm just in my one-person hammock because we were doing some work on the boat dock over there, right? And I need to get a new hook, a new hammock hook. So I've got my new hammock hook now. So I'm gonna put that up, and so you might see me on another day in that hammock, but it's one of those. It's got the bar spreader at the top. You know, you know the one. Oh, I'm not gonna make that joke. Anyway, so yeah, the bar spreader at the top and the bottom of the hammock, and that's cool. That's cool. And yeah, so yeah, it's not a new hammock. It's an old hammock. I've had that for quite a while. It's a great hammock though. It's a really cool hammock. Very difficult for people who aren't used to hammocks to get in and out of. What some people try and do when they're trying to get out of the hammock is they sort of think of it like getting out of a bed. So they put both feet on one side and sort of roll like you do coming out of bed, and sort of sit up, roll, and move, and that just dumps you onto the floor. Don't do that. There's a way of getting up from a hammock. The best way to get up from a hammock, just so you know, both feet on the ground, unless you're dead high up, and then grab the hammock itself, grab it with both hands, and pull yourself up. That's how you do it. So you've got one leg on one side and one leg on the other, and then you're going to swing one way or the other. It looks nice in the Trump skin hammock you're on. Oh, L. Oh, L. Oh, oh, you've made a bit of sick come up in my mouth. Fuck me, Jesus Christ. Oh, look, it's only half bloody 8 in the morning here. Can you? Oh, God, I haven't got any water either. I've only got coffee to drink. Fucking hell. Jesus. Right, okay, I'll get back to work, shall I? Anyway, so yeah, what was I talking about? Oh, fucking hell. Get that image out my head. Get it out my head. Get it out my head. Oh fuck. Okay. So this is the worst case scenario for energy markets. I think I'm just going to turn the comments off. Sorry for everyone for a little bit. It's fine. I just won't look at them for a little tiny bit. Okay. If anyone drops a super chat, I will see it because there is a totalizer at the top here on the screen for me. I can see. So I'll get back to you on that. Let me finish. Let me finish what I'm saying. What we were saying. I can't look at my hammock now. I'm going to hold my laptop here so I don't, so I don't have to look at. I'm going to burn this tonight. Anyway, so yeah, where was I? Yeah, worst case. This is literally the worst case scenario for global markets. It's the best case scenario for Russia, by the way. Absolutely the best case scenario because it means that they get to sell their gas, they get to sell their oil, and America has lifted sanctions, which is what Russia's wanted since they paid for Trump to get into power again. So yeah, oil is well above $100 a barrel now. It's probably going to go up even more. Gas prices spike even have gone even harder. It's this volatile market, and Europe is particularly exposed due to its dependency, like I said, on LNG, and the UK is getting fucking hammered because we are heavily reliant on global gas pricing. For some fucking fucked up, stupid fucking reason, we set our energy price at the most expensive commodity, the expensive commodity in the mix, right? Usually that's like nuclear, but nuclear doesn't go up and down in mad fucking price spikes. Wind, solar does not go up and down in mad fucking price spikes. It is only fucking fossil fuels that do this. And yet there are still people out there who are like, oh, what are you doing going to net zero? Why do you want energy sovereignty? Oh, I just want to bend over this barrel of oil and take it from the fucking Middle East for the rest of time. I don't want our own country to be in control of its own energy prices. I want some mad fucking tin pot dictator from some gobshite country halfway across an ocean to be able to dictate what our fucking prices are that we have to pay to fucking cook our dinner in the fucking microwave or get to fucking work. Or get the kids home from school. How much are buses now? Whoa! Oh my god! Oh wow! I've just seen something's come up, so I'm gonna have to turn the comments back on. And also, I didn't carve a mega chat thing yesterday, so I'm just gonna have to do a super chat thing. I don't know who's giving this money, but there's 50 quid in the pot. So thank you, super chat, woo, super chat. Who was it? I have to unhide the chat now. Sorry, I'm pressing me fucking camera. Way, Saz. What Saz is SG. SG, thank you so much, SG. You are incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you. That is absolutely wonderful and incredible and really kind and generous of you. Thank you, SG. I really, 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 really appreciate that. So thank you. Have a super chat animation. Real 3D. Doesn't it look real? Doesn't it look like tangible? It's amazing what you can do with AI these days. Make a board say super chat. As a woman, no supporter of the Iranian regime, but in my opinion, they've behaved with restraint as they haven't even activated Houthis in the Red Sea as yet. Hope someone can restrain Trump stroke Netanyahu, as it literally can only get worse, not better from here on in. Yeah, and again, I'm a big fan of Iran. The country. I think the people are the kindest, sweetest, most beautiful people you will ever hope to fucking meet, okay? And they're really intelligent, really, whip smart people. I mean, you can spend a week in some countries and only meet dickheads. I'm not saying that's what it's like in America, but we've all been, some of us have been to America a few times and we know the lay of the land, right? But spent a week in Iran and it was just lovely people everywhere I went. Just lovely people. But you're right, the regime is shit. The regime still kill people for being gay. They still treat women as second-class citizens. They massacred thousands of protesters earlier this year. But at the same time, they are responding in the smartest way possible. And although I'm not condoning what they're doing, because obviously it's horrible and it's causing our our prices to spike, but in the same way that I sometimes say this about Starmer, when I don't really want to be defending him either. I'm not comparing him to the Iranian regime by any means, but like he doesn't always do what I'd like him to do. But in certain circumstances, it's absolutely what I would do. And to be honest with you, Iran has prepped for this for 47 years. They've been waiting for this to come. It's been threatened it was threatened in the 80s, but they were having a war against Iraq at the time over the water rights in the Shatt-al waterway, and that went on for like 10 years. That war, the Iran-Iraq war, resulted in the death of over 1 million people. That war, it's fucking horrific. It was the first time we went back to trench warfare since like World War One as human beings. Really horrific. And then in the 90s, when Benjamin Netanyahu was making his mark making his skid mark as a politician, he was constantly calling for Iran to be attacked by the Allied powers, by Israel, by Britain and America, because he kept on going on about the fact that they had a nuclear weapon. He said this in the mid-90s. He said, oh, they're only 10 minutes away from a nuclear weapon. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, in 1 minute time, they're going to have a nuclear weapon. And they kept on not getting a nuclear weapon. And this absolute fucking gobshite of a man, I couldn't hate him even more if I tried. Netanyahu and Trump, I mean, they're both fucking vile people. And yeah, Netanyahu, Trump, Farage and Putin, the four pony men of the apocalypse. This absolute vermin, absolute scumbags. But yeah, he was trying to get other countries to invade Iran for years. So what do you think Iran was doing all that time? Do you think they were just sitting there playing fucking backgammon and smoking hashish? No, they weren't. They were looking at what the issues, what the probable cause, what the probable things that America would do to it, and then what it could do in response to fuck America and all the other Western powers. And this is particularly infuriating because we are not insulated from global gas prices. Energy companies pass costs on to consumers, and households pay for geopolitical chaos every time because we're still linked to fossil fuels. If we weren't linked to fossil fuels, we wouldn't be paying for this chaos. But what's particularly frustrating is when these dickheads like Johnson and Truss and Port Markets and fucking arseholes who voted for Brexit go, look, we got a new trade deal with Malawi. Yeah, we got a trade deal with Malawi, says fucking Liz Truss as our trade envoy at the time. She's made up. It's going to give 0.000000000000001% addition to our GDP. Yay, fuck yeah. Woohoo, now we're rich. But we don't normally talk about the damage, the economic damage that certain geopolitical things have done to Britain. And because in the past we have been insulated, don't forget that 10 years of just insane growth in terms of GDP that we had, economic growth from 1997 to 2007, was also for over half of it was under the shit that was the Iraq war. And Britain was spending billions on this fucking war that we didn't even want. We didn't need. It wasn't necessary. There were no weapons of mass destruction, etc., etc. We've all heard the story. But you look at like where we are now, and you're talking about a trade deal that's going to give a tiny percentage of a boost to our economy. Meanwhile, these events are happening that we could uncouple from if we just went for energy self-sufficiency. And the knock that our economy is going to take because of this is going to be catastrophic compared with these mealy fucking mouth trade deals that we have, like the wonderful trade deal we've got with Australia that allows them to bring in, was it 20,000 tons of beef a year rent free, tax free, tariff free, and we can't sell any beef to them. But the farmers loved this. The farmers voted for Brexit. But yeah, also we don't talk about the economic damage that's been done by decisions that the previous Tory administration have made. Austerity was devastating to our economy because it meant that normal people just didn't have any money in their pocket. And if you've got no money goes around. Then you've got Brexit. That was devastating. COVID, again, devastating to the economy. And then we had Liz Truss. Liz Truss came along. Liz Truss! And, fucked us every which way but Sunday. And it's like, here we go again. Here we go again. Why are we pushing water uphill? Why are we working 40-hour weeks to just keep our heads above water? We're in 2026. There is more than enough food, drink, accommodation for every human being on the planet. In fact, we could probably maintain a decent standard of living for up to 10 billion people. And we're a couple billion short of that at the moment. And you know what? Birth rates are plummeting around the world. Around the world, birth rates are plummeting. So what you're going to end up with in just one generation, right? Just very, very quickly, quicker than you will possibly imagine. You will have a world that's been built for 8 billion people, but only 6 billion people living in it. And you know what? That's the point where everyone could be the Lord of the Last Days, like in Songs of Distant Earth by Arthur C. Clarke. Imagine a city like Liverpool that now had a population that was nearing a million at the end of the 60s. It's now got under 500,000 people living there, and that's a bit shit in terms of Liverpool economy and stuff like that. And there is a big Scouse diaspora, but actually, for the people who stayed, the people who live there now, it's quite nice. It's quite nice not to feel cheek by jowl. It's nice to be able to get around the city fairly easily. It's only a 20-minute drive usually to get anywhere in the city. We have a joke in Liverpool where it's like, oh, I'm coming out to see how long you be. 20 minutes. It's just so 20 minutes. Because it doesn't matter where you're coming from, where you're going to in Liverpool. It's usually about 20 minutes to get there or less. And so, yeah, I mean, we should not be toiling like we are. Humans have become more efficient than ever before. We had computers in the 1970s and 80s. Then in the 90s and the noughties, we had the rise of the internet, allowing so much more productivity. And then in the 10s and the 20s, we've had the rise of video conferencing, the rise of the smartphone, fucking hell, an entire, production company in your fucking pocket, broadcasting station in your pocket. And we've got AI to do a lot more jobs, like taking minutes from meetings, which is the only thing it's good at. Well, the point is that we've become more productive and we get less money for being productive. The older generation, the boomers, not all boomers, but enough. The boomers, they didn't work as hard as us. They didn't work as hard, says Graham in his hammock, sitting down in his boat dock. They didn't work as hard as us. They didn't. They weren't as productive as us. Most of them got drunk at lunchtime. Didn't they bring in daylight savings to stop the munitions workers getting drunk during World War One? Was that the reason? Or was that the old pub hours that they brought in? Remember when pubs were closed on like a Sunday, they could open for 2 hours for like lunch, and they had to close, and then they could open again in the afternoon. Pubs all had to close. Do you remember when pubs closed at 11 o'clock? And the only place you could go after 11 was a club. You had to find a club to go to. You had to pay to get into the club. And then they had to close at 2 o'clock. Except in those glorious weeks of Euro 96, when the clubs could stay open till 4 for special dispensation because there were so many European fans coming to the UK. And that was the time when 17-year-old Graham got to go to the Crazy House. I was in the 147 playing pool. Went to the Crazy House in the height of summer, right? This is in June, right? Went to the Crazy, and it was still light. It was still light, about 10 o'clock. It was still light when we went in. And then we went in and just rocked our tits off. And then we came out and it was light. It was light. It was 4 a.m. It was formative experience, I tell you. But yes, friends, we'll go back to why this is, this is all Trump's fault. No stabilization strategy, no, it's contradictory messaging, no end game, the fact that we're particularly exposed. And I think that we need to do something, all of us in Europe, we need to do something absolutely devastating to America to teach them a lesson. Teach them a lesson they will not forget. The US is deeply embedded in tech, finance, energy, culture. In Europe and the UK, this wouldn't be a boycott like boycotting one country's goods, because the US sits in the center. It's the spider at the center of the web that is the current global system. And many non-US products still rely on US companies and services. So, you imagine you're selling your wares, but you've got a Google email account, you've got a website set up using WordPress, you've got stuff that you're selling via Stripe. So you've got all these things that are set up. You're not making American products, you're not making American products for America, but the back end still involves America somehow. Anyone coming into your shop and paying with a MasterCard or a Visa card, or a Master Visa card, or a Master Blaster card, or a Master System card, or a Master and Slave card. Oh, just okay. Your money's going via America. PayPal, it's going via America. Nearly every single kind of digital transaction there is at the moment is going via America. So we need to be canny about this. There's no way of doing a full boycott, but we can do what I'll call targeted disengagement. Targeted disengagement. So I want to see us reducing our reliance on US tech giants. Obviously, we need those to be built. We need YouTube. We need a European version of Google that's really good. We need a European version. I don't think we need a European version of AI, because I think AI is shit. I think the bubble's about to burst. Or the balloon is going to deflate. Let's say the balloon will deflate. But using European or open source tools. So when I say like boycott America, it can't be a blanket across the board, right? You could use American open source stuff. You could use Wikipedia. I'm not saying stop using Wikipedia, for instance. So this is a little bit more nuanced than just don't buy anything made in South Africa like we did when apartheid was raging in I don't remember it before the 80s, but I remember in the 80s. And then we've got, the choices that we make on social media. We really do need to reduce engagement with US-owned platforms where that is viable. He says on a US platform, talking to people via a US platform. But also there's cloud and software access. Many services run on US infrastructure, and sort of awareness of that is step one. And where possible, it will be a very good idea to choose EU-hosted services. Where it's a bit easier, to be honest with you, is just in our consumer habit. So move away from tech for a moment, because that is a little bit more targeted, a little bit more difficult. And if you use social media for keeping in touch with your mates and having that connection which all humans need, continue on. Like, please don't isolate yourself from the world because you don't want to give America your money. Because here's the thing, right? And this is a very, very canny thing that someone once explained to me. These companies, you don't need to destroy them. You do not need to destroy them. You don't need to bring down Coca-Cola or McDonald's or Starbucks. You don't need to. All you need to do is make their profits go down. in 1/4 by 1%, and they will shit themselves to death. That's all you need. It's a tiny, tiny percentage. It just needs to go down. Because these companies operate on a number go up thing of, every year, make more money, make more money, make more money. So, I would advise now to, when it comes to food, clothing, household goods, cut your dependence on the US corporate supply chains. Yeah, I know this sucks because the Chinese government's not great, and what they've done to the Uyghur people living up in northwest Xinjiang province in China is horrific. But we can deal with that another day. Right now, a clear and present danger to our way of life is America. And I wish people would stop telling me that it's all going to change in the midterms, all right? Come here. Let me tell you about the midterms. Let me tell you what's going to happen in the midterms, right? Trump's going to win. I'm going to tell you that now. What do you mean Trump's going to win? He's really unpopular. He's not. He's got 40% approval rating. He's had 40% approval rating since the beginning. He'll always have 40% approval rating. 40% of the American population absolutely love Donald Trump. They think of him as their godhead. Okay? They worship him. You have to understand that before we go any further. Secondly, the billionaires want it to happen. The billionaires want the Republicans to do well in the midterms so that they can carry out more of their Project 2025 horror show shite, right? The oil companies want it. The oligarchs want it. The munitions companies want it. The tobacco barons want it. The merchants of death, the billionaire merchants of death want it to happen, okay? And then tell me, it can't happen. It can't happen because the Democrats have got a great ground game, or they've got this amazing thing, and people won't stand for it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because one way or another, Trump is going to cheat. Trump is going to cheat, whether it is not accepting the results of various elections, putting in case after case in various states, in the state government, the state judiciary, to try and nullify results, threatening people at the ballot box, getting rid of in-mail voting, gerrymandering, every trick in the book he's going to use. But most of all, friends, he said this. He has said that he's going to do this, right? It's not a secret. But I think that one of the underlying reasons for the Trump regime to have attacked Iran is to provoke a terrorist attack, a spectacular terrorist attack on a par with what happened 25 years ago in New York, on a par with that. That's what's going to happen. He wants it to happen. He wants thousands of Americans to die. And as a result of that, he will see his popularity, just like what happened with George W. Bush, who was tremendously unpopular by the September of his first term of office. Don't forget, he only got in 2001. January 2001 was when he was inaugurated. September the 11th happened 8 months later. Less than eight months later. He spent most of his first term playing golf up to that point. And people were like, what are you doing? He was called the accidental president because no one expected him to win. He was fucking useless. He was an idiot. God, he looks like brains of fucking Britain now compared with Donald Trump, doesn't he? But yeah, this is why I have no hope at all that the midterms are going to change anything in America. In fact, if anything, it's probably going to make the bad situation worse. So I don't see this as some Americans do, some Democrats, some people in Britain see it as like, it's just a blip, it's just a blip, it's just a blip. No, it's not. This is America for the long term, my friends. And so we have to plan for the long term. We have to be smart about it, like Iran is being smart about it. Ruthless and smart. I'm not saying we should start blowing up fucking oil facilities, but I am saying that we should boycott American fucking goods and services where possible. Pick small businesses over multinational chains, local over global every fucking time. Especially in fast food. Go get yourself a Greg's pasty. Get yourself a fucking Greg's pasty and be proud of it, all right? Greggs do fucking great pasties. When I was growing up in Liverpool, we had our version of Greggs, which was Sayers, which was fucking fantastic. I don't really have them anymore in Liverpool because they've all been turned into Greggs now. Greggs was Newcastle, Sayers was Liverpool, and I don't know where Sayers went wrong and where Greggs managed to expand sort of quite aggressively. But they sold all the same stuff: the steak bake, the the corned beef pasty, all that kind of stuff. They sold the same wares. When I was at school, when I was at Blue Coat, we used to walk down to Allerton Road at lunchtime. I was in sixth form, and always get a steak bake or whatever they call it, a steak slice. It was fucking great. It was like, oh, and the ones in Sayers as well, unlike Greg's, were fucking hot. Fucking, I just remember like biting the top off tentatively of the pasty, and then just like hot steam coming out and just burning my face. Like a fucking titan had appeared beside me, just the steam. I'm burning. But Greg's like to give you a lukewarm pasty. Lukewarm pasty, sir. No. Yeah. So yeah, just do it. Just go to Greg's. Do it with pride. Go to your local Greasy Spoon cafe. Get to know the people there. One of the things that I really liked when I used to go into Durham each day, because before Kat started working from home, I'd take her into work and I'll park up in the university car park and go to go into town. There was a coffee place and there was a pub that I used to just go in. I ended up getting to know all the people there, becoming a bit of a not a bar fly but a coffee fly, I guess. But just get to know them in your local and have a chat. And don't really get that in McDonald's, and I was thinking about that the other day. McDonald's and Popeyes and KFC and all that, they're also impersonal, aren't they? They're also impersonal. By the way, Popeyes and Burger King, funnily enough, are not actually American companies anymore. Kind of. They're actually headquartered in Canada now. Okay, yeah, you heard that right. Yeah, Popeyes, Louisiana chicken, headquarters in Toronto. Anyway, so I think it's Toronto. I don't know. It's somewhere in Canada. Anyway. Oh, did we get another thing? Member for 17 months. Time has flown big time, says Viper Scott. Yeah, mate. Bloody hell, I'll tell you. It has been a roller coaster. Greg's, it's either cold or burning your mind. Yeah, there's nothing in between. Nothing in between. Plenty of Sayers in South Liverpool. The Alton Road one is still there. Oh, brilliant, Martin. Okay, I'll have to go there. There's a place called the Burbs, isn't there? On Allerton Road. That's a really, really, really good bakery. It's run by a mate of mine, Darren, who's fucking awesome. So if you're on Allerton Road, go in the Burbs. Tell them that Graham sent you. But yeah. Anyway, so another thing is, I want to talk about supporting British film, but at the same time, we make so many shit films in Britain. I feel bad saying that. It's like saying, do you know what? You need to eat shit in order to get back in America. Maybe it might be an idea to reduce your consumption of US media monopolies. Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, who knew? Apple TV, etc. How can I put this delicately? There are other ways to watch these shows. For instance, what you could do is you get your neighbours to watch it and put the subtitles on, and then you can watch the TV through the window, okay? So that's another way of getting to watch these shows for free, okay? I don't know if that's illegal. If as long as your neighbours are happy with you watching, which they are because you've been in their wardrobe enough times. But seriously, there are certain ways of being able to enjoy the shows and the films and the music that you like without necessarily having to give money to American companies, so to speak. This goes without saying, right? Don't go to America. Okay, I don't have to tell you that because you follow me on here, and honestly, if you are anything like me, you would have to delete your entire online persona, your entire presence. You'll be like there'll be like GeoCities fucking messages from 1999 that you still that you'll have to go and clean out in order to go to America because they'll fucking find you. They'll fucking find you. Um, Dodgy fire stick. Shh, Martin. Shh. My mate lives next door to a greasy spoon, dangerous to the waistline. Their bacon sub is sublime. That almost rhymes, doesn't it? Line and lime. I like that. Dangerous to the waistline. Their bacon sub is sublime. I'm sure you could make a haiku out of that. Remind the Costa Coffee are now owned by Coca-Cola. Yes, they are. So don't necessarily do the old Costa thing. And you know, if you got the choice between Coca-Cola or Iron Brew, and you just need like I don't know, you just need to just put a funnel in your mouth and just pour raw sugar into your mouth. Get the Iron Brew. Go for Iron Brew. It's made in Scotland by Girders. So yeah, also there is that thing of ethical banking. I mean, that sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it? Like President Trump or baby pubes. It just doesn't sound right, does it? But ethical banking, try and avoid funds that are heavily tied to US defense or tech surveillance firms, and consider European alternatives if you're going to invest or if you're going to start banking with anyone. It's a bit of a shame that the Tory government got rid of building societies. Remember building societies? Tory government got rid of them. Want to privatise everything. They privatised the housing market. They privatised the schools. They privatised the air. They privatised the water. Privatised the lecky. Privatised the trains. All been a big fucking disaster. I'd rather my sister came here than I'd spend the money on a flight to the US. Yep, indeed. Danger for the waistline. Living next to a greasy spoon. Is it worth it? Yes. And nice one, Ren. I like it. I mean, I understand that there is a certain weight you can hit and it becomes unhealthy and puts a lot of strain on your internal organs, and also it might not make people feel so good, so it's not great for their mental health. I completely get that, and I absolutely support people who are taking injections to help lose weight, because I know I'm a human. That hunger is one of the most torturous pains on earth. Being hungry all the time is horrific. Sorry about the wind. The wind is picking up. Sorry. I'd plug in my microphone, but it didn't work yesterday. Should I plug in my microphone? We'll do a little experiment before I start rabbiting on about people losing weight. But yeah, I mean, I've seen a few things recently about the fact that Hollywood, especially people like the two ladies out of Wicked, the movie, like just looking a bit too fucking skinny, a bit too skinny. Emma Stone looking a bit too skinny. Right, okay, let me do this. I'm gonna plug in my mic. Okay, this didn't work yesterday. It cut my sound. So if this cuts the sound, tell me immediately. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything important until I pull it out. Okay, so in it goes. Right, now I am plugged in to my microphone. Right, I pulled it out again, not working, sound gone. God, that's so shit. Okay, well, thanks for letting me know, everyone. You just got to put up with the wind sound. Sorry, it's getting a bit windy. So what I was going to say is that I understand people wanting to lose weight for health reasons or for aesthetical reasons, but I really wish that society. And this is why I like being friends with Hannah James, who's a plus size model, and she's gorgeous. She's absolutely stunning, Hannah. Um, I, I, um, I want that campaign that we were having years ago about real beauty with Dove soap, showing different women of different sizes, um, using the soap, whatever. Um, I wish we could sort of go back there again, but we seem to have gone the other way. People have turned to starving themselves. Extreme. I'm looking at these celebrities like Ariana Grande, and I think that she's on Ozempic, even though she absolutely does not need it. Like she's basically a skeleton now, and it's horrific to see. But it also encourages eating disorders and things like that. And I want people to understand that you can be big and you can be fucking sexy as fuck. That idea that you gotta look like a fucking skeleton, I find that distinctly unsexy. To be honest with you, I don't want to see bones jutting out. Jesus Christ, you look like someone who's should be asking for money in the 1980s for Band-Aid or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, wow, what happened to you? Were you in a war? You know, was there a famine? You know, what did you do to displease the volcano gods? Did the rains not come? So yeah, I'm seeing a trend in like the last year or so. It might have gone on for longer than that, but I haven't noticed it. But I'm seeing a trend away from that real beauty sort of ideal, back to the skinny minxes of the 1990s, and I really think it's not helpful. I really think it's not helpful at all. Should we organise a concert? Feed the rich. Could you imagine? Oh, we should do that. We should just do that as a work of satire, shouldn't we? Shouldn't we do that as a work of satire? Yeah. Hey, Hammock Graham and friends. Hello, Simply Secular Dave. How's it going? Hannah is considered plus size. What the fuck? Says Liam. Yeah. Technically, she's a plus size model. But yeah, I mean, we often talk about the fact that Marilyn Monroe, who was like the sexiest woman of the 20th century, apparently, she wasn't skinny. She was never skinny. She looked like a normal person. But yeah, it does worry me that we're going back that way a little bit. I'm going to plug this back in because I need the power, and I hope it doesn't change the aspect ratio. It did. Have you seen the Osborne girl? Can't remember her name. Kelly Osborne? Kelly? Not recently. What, has she gone mad skinny or something? But yeah, that whole aesthetic seems to be coming across from America again. And so you've got these influencers who are just horrifically skinny, actresses, etc. But also you've got the rise in plastic surgery, like the amount of Americans who have got plastic surgery. Did anyone see that clip on it was Lewis Goodall's show on LBC this week? It was a few days ago now, and he had like two MAGA women on, and they had like a bit of a fight. But like one MAGA woman was relatively sensible as you can be as someone who supported Donald Trump. The other one was absolutely fucking unhinged. I actually left a note saying, like, bloody hell, the Victorians would have paid good money for tickets to go and see a freak like that. Jesus Christ. As this older woman who had loads of plastic surgery to make herself look like a fruit bat. I don't know why you want to look like a fruit bat, but she did. Anyway, so she looks like a fruit bat, and she's like, Donald Trump is amazing and everything he did is amazing and you're so rude. Why are you asking me that? And I'm like, oh my God. If you ever watch any interviews with Michael Jackson from the 90s when he's being accused of what he was accused of on multiple occasions, and his response is to attack the interviewer, say, you're so ignorant. That's just ignorant. That's just ignorant. It's the same thing they do. She attacks Lewis Goodall, and it was just like this weird little woman, and she was a doctor as well, but she'd had loads of fucking work done on her face because she'd gone into the plastic surgery place and said, listen, I'm a bit worried that I don't look like a fruit bat. Can you make me look like a fucking fruit bat? And the guy's there with the knife, and he says, give me $500,000, I'll make you look like whatever fucking flying rodent you want me to make you look like. Looks at the mirror. I didn't say I wanted to be a flying squirrel. Flying fox. Flying fox. Little bit of nothing. Society has been driven back to the 60s via painful fitness at maximum speed. She looks emancipated. Emaciated. Sorry, I keep saying emancipated. I did that yesterday, didn't I? When I meant emaciated, I said emancipated. Freed from being fed. Freed from having any money. Mar-a-Lago face. That's what I'm talking about, Diz. Mar-a-Lago face. So you've got that, and the men are doing this extreme. What's it called? Oh, I think Ishmael's coming back. Oh, he is. There he is. Hey, Ishmael. Doggy's happy. Hola. Hey, we got ladders. That's good. That's good. All right, so Ishmael's come with his son. They're going to be doing some work today. I'm going to be helping them doing this new. We're going to put this new roof here, up here on the roof of the boat dock. As you can see, you can't see too well, I don't think there, but it is really, really rusty. It's really rusty. It's a really rusty boat dock. So we're gonna replace all that with this. So I'm gonna get cracking on that in a minute, because obviously I need to move out the way because they're gonna get working. Yeah, before we go, I just want to say, look, let's think about what we can do to reduce our dependency and our vulnerability when it comes to America. We need to rebalance our power. Really liked what Mark Carney said about the middle-sized countries coming together. And I don't want to be collateral damage in someone else's bloody war, you know. Energy bills are political. They're not just market forces. They are reflecting decisions made by Donald Trump and his sycophants over 7,000 miles away. You know, it's got nothing to do with us. It should have nothing to do with us. The uncomfortable truth is the UK population, the UK, us people, UK citizens are paying for a war they didn't vote for, a war they didn't want, a strategy they can't control, in the system that we are unfortunately locked into. This isn't abstract geopolitics anymore. This is your heating bill, it's your electricity, it's your rent going up, it's your price of your groceries going up, it's your price of powering your car or putting energy in your car going up. And like, how much control do we really have over the systems that determine our cost of living? And how do we take some of that control back? And we can't just turn off America. We can't switch off America overnight. We can't just flick a switch. I'm aware of that. But when, you know, these dickhead bloody, what are they called, the Brexiters, right, are talking about, you know, we've got to take back control. We've got to take back control. Okay, cool. Let's take it back. Not from Europe, because they never had it. Let's take it back from America. We don't have a say in America. We had a say in Europe. We had a say in the European Parliament. That's why people go, oh, it's just fascist, isn't it? Because the European Commission just told you what to do. No. We had a fucking Parliament. I've got a ladder, says L. Yes, well, we've got four now. No, three. No, four. We've got four. We've got 4 ladders. There are 4 ladders, but that's the one that can actually get to the top of the house. So that's good. But let's count our ladders. Do a little bit of snakes and ladders. So there's a ladder there. That's just a working ladder. That's not very tall. That's just to when we're working at quite a low level. There's the ladder behind here, which is for getting in and out of the water, but we haven't nailed it together yet. That's just got a couple of screws and holding it together for when we actually nail it, which is going to be awesome. And then going to varnish it and stick it in the water. See how well it does. 4 candles. We've got another ladder on the boat dock there, so that on the boat dock, that's a ladder. And we've got the one that Marcus built when he was here, which is the cousin of this one, because we designed that one off Marcus's design, which is to get into the spare room in the house. House is looking lovely now. Listen, before we go, right, just want to tell you what we got up to yesterday. So anyone who follows me on Facebook, or if you're a Facebook friend of mine, then you'll have seen us going out onto the mainland. We had to go to a place called Almirante, and then we had to get on a chicken bus to Changanolo. It takes about 25 minutes to get there. And then in Changanolo, we went to like a sort of department store type thing. We bought a new couch And we bought cushions, throw to go on it. We also bought this metal sheeting. Actually, we got that from Amarante. We also bought a ton of stuff that we needed for the house. We bought bedside lamps. I bought a new table. I bought some chair, like a plastic fold-out table for outside. Bought a couple of chairs. Bought some dominoes. Bought a pack of cards. Bought some Uno Panama. So it's like Uno cards, but with pictures of Panama on. That's pretty cool. Got one of those 3-in-1 chess, drafts, and backgammon boards with the carved wooden pieces, so that's quite fun for people who stay. And got some rugs, so we've now got a bath mat, we've got a welcome rug, we've got a rug in the house, we've got a little runner rug when you go in. Yeah, I've put together the couch when I got here. It's actually a bed settee, so it can make another bed if we need another bed for some reason. Yeah, it looks really cool now. I've got to do obviously a bit more painting in the house. You've seen me do painting and varnishing and stuff. Got a lot of stuff still left to do. Got 2 weeks, we've got just under 2 weeks left here in Panama. I don't know if I'm going to achieve my dream of having a week where I just literally don't do anything. But we're gonna crack on with it, and once it is all done, I'm gonna take photos of everything looking fucking amazing. Looking, the new boat dock here. It's gonna look awesome, and then I'm gonna put it back on Airbnb. Well, I'm gonna do a new listing on Airbnb saying, "Come live in hell. Come live in the most horrible place in the world. Dare you survive? Dare you survive? Ginger Island." So I'll show you up there. Can you see the rust? You see the rust on the roof there, yeah. So that's, and there's holes, there's light coming through the holes, and also if you look, you see where the bits of wood are sticking out. Can you see the bits where the wood are sticking out? Yeah. Well, the roof is supposed to go all the way to the end of those pieces of wood like it does on this side, but on this side the storms coming in, because the wind always comes this way, the wind always comes from the north. It's actually pulled the roof off, and the roof is twisted up away from us. So yeah, new roof required. There's 16 sheets there. Not cheap. So I'm glad no one came and robbed them in the night. I'll tell you this before I go as well, right? And I don't want to jinx it, so I'm touching wood, and luckily everything around me apart from this hammock is made of wood. The Americans, man, I mean, they're so fucking paranoid. Talk to Americans and they're like, "Oh my God, man, you live out there on your island and you don't have a gun. What I would do is if someone came past in a boat, I'd shoot my gun just to keep them away from my shit." And I'm like, well, first of all, I lived on the island for 3 years and never got robbed, like when I was here. The only time I got robbed was when I wasn't here. Well, I had someone looking after the place, but they left and didn't tell me they left. So the house that was left sort of abandoned for weeks. And yeah, as a result of that unhelpful situation, because then I had to try and find somebody else. I was in the UK at the time. To find someone else to try and look after the place. The place did get robbed, but up till then, no, it's been all right. Didn't need a gun. And do you know what? If people come and they want to rob me stuff, what are they going to do? Take me fucking dominoes. The worst thing they could take is me bloody, I guess, the solar panels. But at the end of the day, those solar panels that I've got, they're only about $100 each. It's so cheap these days, right? It costs me $100 every time I get some soil delivered. I'd be more worried about people coming and stealing all my soil. That's what the true value of this island is. The fact that we've brought loads of soil over from the mainland to make it green and beautiful, hopefully in the next few months. I am worried though that we are going to make this island look fucking amazing, make the house look really awesome. I'm leaving on March the 31st. And I'm not going to be able to come back this year and see the results, you know, see what we've made. But yes, abandon all hope, all ye that enter here. Yeah, I was going to put that on the door of the house. But yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. Someone was writing about Europe a minute ago. The United Kingdom, SG, thank you, who gave that mega chat earlier. Thank you, SG. The United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, and Japan say they'll take steps to stabilise the energy markets and are ready to join appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through Hormuz. Yeah, Yeah, which is great, but the fact that this LNG facility in Qatar has been attacked is a real big problem. That is a real big problem. Okay, so we're gonna get cracking, fixing up this place now. We've got to put a few support pieces in just to make it a bit stronger on the roof, because if we're going to be climbing on the roof, obviously we don't want the whole thing collapsing. So we've done that. There's a few little new support pieces that have been put. I don't know if you can see that, but we've put in a few more new support pieces in to keep the structure up while we're clambering about on the roof. And yeah, let's do it. Let's put a new roof on the Ginger Island boat dock. Hurrah. Okay, I'm going to get off now. So thanks for watching. Thanks for so much for the Super Chat SG and the Mega Chat. Absolutely fucking amazing. Cheers, mate. I'll be back later. I might show you some footage of us working on the roof. I might just set my camera up on a tripod down there and see what happens. And then in the evening, if I can, I will try and do a midnight massive. I don't know. It just like literally depends on the lay of the land, whether the wind's blowing, whether it's raining, whether it's sunny, whether we get the shit done that we need to get done, or whether I'm covered in sweat and sawdust, or whatever it needs to be done, right? Please like and subscribe, as blah blah CW is imploring you to do that. But in particular, hit the bell notification icon, because it'll give you a little notification if I go live at some point later today. So yes, thanks very much, everyone. And until I see you again, I just want to say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Bye.